Newcastle restricted the number of goal-scoring opportunities in the first half. Important for your team to stay patient.
Absolutely, that was the key word. We had to be patient, but we need to play with a different urgency and rhythm. And that's what we've done much better in the second half, as well as occupying different spaces and threading those spaces more. And that's how we scored the goals.
The game's decided. I know we were a goal down, but the incident with Callum Wilson and the penalty, I think that's a really tough call against us. And of course, then they score the second goal in the aftermath of that.
Spectacular, wasn't it, from Gabriel Martinelli?
Yeah, the movement, the pass from Tommy was great. And then when the ball is flying over your head, it's really difficult to keep the ball down like he did. So that's what he can do.
You've had to be patient to wait for your opportunities this season.
As I always say, even if I play 5, 10, 15 minutes, I'm always ready to play and show something.
Gavi, like others that we have, and I'm lucky to have them, they are really respectful, they are patient, but as well they challenge every decision in the right way. And this is what happens when you train like he does. The moment he needs to play, he's ready.
You're still right at the beginning of your tenure in terms of working with the players. Are you already seeing a response in terms of what you're trying to get across?
Yeah, I think so. I think the players have been very responsive. I think they've, in the 2 games that we've had, given everything to the team. I can't ask any more than their best. We know we're in a really difficult position, and we know we've got some important games to come.
Yeah, Arsenal back to winning ways. Newcastle's woes continue. You're having a bit of a fullback love-in this week. We've got Tavares. Now, it only takes a minute to transform a player's career with a bit of Michael.
A little bit of loving from Mike. He was excellent. And I'm not just doing it because he was a fullback, but he was one of the best players on the pitch. What I liked about him is he just didn't stay. Every opportunity, he went forward, and he went forward with quality. You know, sometimes when you're a full-back in there, his first instinct, look at him, can I get forward? I mean, Kraft had an absolute nightmare against him today. He ends up fouling him here.
He certainly did.
I really like the next clip. This is what I'm seeing with the modern-day full-back. Look at his position here. He gets in this is where you would find normally a midfielder. And us fullbacks from back in the day wouldn't know what to do there. But look at the awareness from him to play Saka in there. I mean, what is he, 21 from Benfica? A little chop here. He's confident now. He's having fun. £8 million. He's keeping out Kieran Tierney, who I really love. He started the last 5 games. And everything he did in his game today was just quality. Look at that for a ball. I mean, you would have scored that, Gary. Or so you say, but there's no evidence of that. The evidence, but it's never there. But he today was brilliant. He really was.
And he's never had a love like this before. No question about that. As for Newcastle, well, still without a win, still without a clean sheet. They're in trouble.
And you can see why in performances like today. I thought for moments they looked OK today, but then when it really came down to it, some of the decision-making defensively is just all over the place and shocking. I mean, Kraft coming out of his position, why I don't know there, because there's no pressure on the ball. Partey's in midfield. He's got time when this ball comes to him to get his head up. Arsenal exploited this space down this side time and time again against Newcastle today, and it's because they were just so disjointed at times, and the decision-making from individuals as well, like lack of leadership and, just that lack of understanding in defensive moments. They look great here. They've got plenty of bodies. They look like everything's under control, but Kraft's got to get tighter, put some aggression into the way that you press. One simple kind of run from Saka, and now all of a sudden you're 1v1, everything's at 6s and 7s, and you've got a man free in the middle of the box. So to have that many numbers, there's no communication, there's no talking. And I spoke about leadership a minute ago. Here's a shape again. This is the way you might be if you're Newcastle at the Emirates. Quite often, the little bit of space that you got into there is what they wanted to do all game. Kraft's lost his man, right? He's lost his man. So who's reacting? Who's seeing what's going on? There's my skipper. He can see everything that's going on in this phase of play. But instead of getting across, putting in a crunching tackle or a goal-saving tackle, he stood there with his arm in the air.
Waving to someone.
He's saying, look, let VAR deal with that. Yeah. And then that's the first goal. The second goal is just as bad. They start off in a really nice line, good shape, everything looks great. But as it develops, Richie's getting deeper and deeper on that far side. So now Shaw goes in, he's out of position. Again, Jamal Lascelles can see everything. But because the line is all over the place, Martinelli can just make that run. He gets kept onside by Matt Ritchie. And you're just looking at it
Cracking
going...
finish, though.
Great finish, but you're looking at it going, he's got so much work to do.
Yes.
You know, the bottom line of it is, if these stats here stay the same, they're basically bottom of everything. Goals conceded, XG conceded, and the shots faced. You can sign as many flamboyant players as you want in January.
It's not going to be easy to sign them in January.
If that don't change, nothing. You know, you're gonna go down.
That's very true. Now, we've had a complaint from a viewer about a couple of decisions. A Mr. A. Shearer of Byker Grove has written in, and he's not happy.
What's he not happy about? Which one?
He's not happy with this. Should have had a penalty, he thinks, or 2 penalties.
No, that's not enough. Come on, Alan, you're better than that.
I think there's something in this. I mean, Ødegaard's not even looking, and he's got his arms all over him, but... You know,
if you're going to give a penalty every single time, if you start giving up for that, Jermaine.
Well, you think this is a pen, don't you?
I actually think Tavares, I've given him all the loving, but I actually think this is a penalty.
This has never been
I really do. I think Wilson's just ahead of him, just a little touch.
Never been a penalty.
I actually think that's a penalty.
No chance. Well, we have to balance it out as well, because, you know, in this type of situation, Arsenal fans are going, what about this?
Ooh.
And
well, that's
I think they have
more
a
than
point,
either of the other two.
in all honesty. I mean, that is...
I agree with that.
It's pretty reckless, put it that way. So
1 for 1.
OK. Yeah. I'm terribly sorry, Mr. Shearer. 5 games coming your way on Match of the Day 2.
We'll talk about Newcastle in a second. Was that the perfect response for Arsenal, Steve, after that heavy Liverpool defeat last weekend?
Yeah, and that's just what they've been looking for, haven't they? You know, they've been... Look at the man behind you, your Saka, your Smith-Rowes. These players have been instrumental this season. Youngsters, can't rely on the old experienced players, you can't rely on that. It seems now that they're just getting a rhythm in their play, a subtle and a settled 11. You know, the fullbacks are coming on. Gabriel at the back, I thought was superb. They dealt with the strikers for Newcastle, and their football's now flowing. They're a bit more confidence going, and look more resolute at the back as well.
Continuity in their selection.
Yeah,
I think they've. You know, you can almost pick their side now. Tomiasu's fitted in well. Tavares on the left-hand side, I thought he was poor today, but. You know, you've got Keane who can come into that area. Do they play Ødegaard or Lacazette? Today he went for Ødegaard. I think they know each other. They know how they're going to play. The only thing I worry about them, they're flat trap bullies. They beat everyone they're expected to beat. And when they come up against a good side, they crumble. That's what they got to try and get that out of their game. And if they do, then they will make grounds. But I think they're stepping in the right direction.
Yeah. Well, Newcastle thought they should have, on another day, had a couple of penalties. What about this from one of their own corners?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a penalty. You know, you can see there, Smith-Rowe, or was it Ødegaard? Sorry, hasn't, you know, not looking at the ball at all. And you can see the shirt pull here. Look at the shirt pull. Look at the sponsor on the Newcastle sign. You can see it up by the shoulder. You see it more in visual here. Look, pull of the shirt. Yes, he's probably nowhere near the ball. It's going to go over his head, but all the intentions there to stop the player getting there.
Oh, interestingly, there's not much of a reaction from Eddie Howe on the sideline.
It's hard to see from the sideline, that one. I think the Callum Wilson's one a little bit easier.
Yeah.
I think the only danger I feel, and I do think when you slow it down, he's obviously grabbed a handful of shirt.
Yeah.
But as soon as I would tell my players, as soon as you feel someone grab your shirt, go to ground, and then you will see it will illuminate the fact that he's pulling on his shirt.
Yeah.
But you will get penalties every single time there's a corner, because that is what happens in the penalty area. So I think you're opening a can of worms there if you start giving penalties for them sort of.
You'll have a fair few then to follow after that. Yeah. Okay. We'll have a look at the Callum Wilson penalty appeal in a second, but the first goal for Arsenal, in many respects, is this Arsenal of old? Because I mean, if you start from the beginning of the move, 16 pass move that led to Saka's goal in the end.
Yeah.
This was terrific, wasn't it?
And again, it's all about timings, details of pass, timing of runs off the ball. Look at everyone that wants the ball. Look, Smith-Rowe goes inside, comes back. He knows exactly where his next pass is going to be. Saka knows where the next run's going to be. Do you know what I mean? It's just telepathic, all of them. You know, they just know where that pass is. And it's a fantastic finish. He's not offside. It's a great run. He knows exactly where he needs to bury it, low and hard into the far corner, in case if Dubravka makes a save, it goes out to someone to put in. Lucky enough for him, it goes straight into the far corner. He's been a breath of fresh air this season.
Yeah. Switching flanks as well, which always kind of confuses opponents, doesn't it?
Yeah, he's a good player. Him and Smith-Rowe, they speed up the attack You know, they know they're used to playing with each other, played for each other so long throughout the ranks. They're both the academy players at Arsenal and at Chelsea at the moment, running the Premier League.
It's great to see if you're an Arsenal fan. Callum Wilson upended in the Arsenal box. Now, this is the one that Eddie Howe in particular was quite frustrated about. Did he have a strong claim here for a penalty?
I think he does. You know, we'll see in the replays here. Look at Tavares there. Look, he's from about a yard away. He's going in with his shoulder to lean in. Now, again, what Tim was saying there. If you're telling your strikers, as soon as you feel contact, go down. The thing that think goes against Callum Wilson here is that he's not in control of that ball. If that ball is just bobbing there for him to strike and he gets a shove and he goes down, it's a penalty. But because he's always getting away from him and he's topping as well, I don't think he gets it because of that reason.
Tavares was struggling to catch up with the pace of Callum. And he leans into him. He doesn't lean into him to try and play the ball. He just leans into him to try and impede him, to try and put him off. I think he's clever enough just to not use his arm, just use the top of his shoulder and get away with that one. Look there, he just leans into him. He knows he's up against it. He knows in the next second or two, Callum's going to pull the trigger and have a shot on target. I think they're lucky to get away with that.
And it's amazing, isn't it? Because it's one of them ones where if that's a ball into the channel where Callum Wilson's running and Tavares does that and he goes over, he probably gets a free kick out there. But then why is it not a penalty? So it's on that borderline one where it's soft, it could be given.
All right. Then chronologically, what happened was, of course, Saka then went off injured, and that will be of particular concern to Mikel Arteta, especially with Manchester United, their next fixture on Thursday evening. But his replacement off the subs bench was Gabriel Martinelli, and we always know that he poses a real threat up top. But what about the way he finishes this move here?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great ball. Richie gets caught playing him onside, and the technique and that finish is so hard. When that ball comes over his shoulder, you can see him running inside there. Richie plays him onside. He's watching it the whole time, and then to put it in there, in that far corner, on the full, is fantastic. But Tim, I'm sure Tim will come on
from the goalkeeper's perspective.
No, he's got to do better. Dubravka has to do better. I mean, Martinelli's done brilliantly. I mean, Tomiyasu's pass is fantastic, delivered it into that area. But he's got his eye on the ball, only the ball. He has to know the goalkeeper's coming, and he has to get worried about that. And I want him to realise that he scored a goal tomorrow.
Okay.
Not then. I think the goalkeeper has to come and take everything out to try and stop that there. He comes and takes the ball, and he takes the player as well. You're not going to foul him, but you have to make contact. And I think next time he'll worry about going in for that. I mean, he stopped. He made it too clean, and it was a fantastic finish. The timing of it coming over his shoulder.
Steve made the point, actually, while we were watching it. If Martinelli can hear the keeper shouting keepers, that will no doubt put him off his stride, right? So or give him something to think about.
Look, we've both been in games, and even if you get a shout from behind, your initial reaction, even if it's your own centre half, you give it the flinch. And if the keeper comes out screaming there, you know, Martin, he's going to either just take his eye off it. Even the slight taking his eye off the ball might just make it go wide.
Yeah, look at his eyes. They're fixed on the ball. He doesn't have to look at the goalkeeper. Dubravka's saying nothing, and he makes it far too easy for him. Wonderful finish. Let's not take anything away from the finish. But I would want my goalkeepers to be a lot stronger than that.
Yeah, something that wasn't a great finish. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. You might not want to have a look back at this in a hurry, will he, Tim?
No, this is a bad one. I mean, we've seen some bad misses over the weekend. Saka does brilliantly again. Smith-Rowe with a header. Dubravka makes a good save that time. It's almost too easy when that comes back off. And it's almost too slow coming at him. You see it comes off his toe. But really, someone of his quality. Only 4 Premier League goals this season. That's probably why. He's not on form at the moment.
No. As far as Newcastle are concerned, if there were some positives against Brentford last time round and the 3-3 draw in that they scored, was it a case of 1 step forward, 2 step back for Eddie Howe?
Yeah, I mean, they've gone to the Emirates where Arsenal needed a result and they're in good form, and I thought they just sat off them. You know, they just sat off him, and a lot of their balls was going long into Callum Wilson, and he couldn't. I mean, he's getting balls up to his shoulders and up to his neck, and trying to get hold of the ball. Couldn't secure it. Couldn't get players up. Defensively, they looked a little bit more solid compared to what they have done, but they've got a long, long way to go. I really fear for Newcastle.
A couple of yellow cards were costly, actually, Tim. So Matt Ritchie suspended for the next game, as is Jamal Lascelles. That is is it a must-win against? It's against Norwich, isn't it?
Norwich and then Burnley.
Listen,
I think, are they must-wins? Possibly. possibly because you're running out of games. If we look at them fixtures again, the next 2 games are winnable.
Yeah.
After that, you're looking at, just before Christmas there, or just after Christmas, you're looking at, if they don't pick up 6 points in these next run of games, they are buried. I mean, it's almost going to be nigh on impossible from that point. I mean, not many teams recover from bottom of the league at Christmas and survive in the Premier League.
You look at Eddie Howe and his track record, even at Bournemouth. His motto was, we'll score more than we're going to concede. They concede a lot. Now, for them to score, they need to Maximin, they need Callum Wilson, they need that front three or them attacking players. They've got to keep them fit, they've got to keep them firing. And then what they're going to bring in January, that's going to be huge, because Newcastle, they've got to be careful, because that could be a dumping ground for big players, just to offload a few that don't want, and they could attract the wrong players.
Okay.